wherever you're watching. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene, and hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Glad you've joined us on our statewide show on Cox Deerview Channel 3, worldwide on YouTube. Let's take a look at our show lineup for today. We have the Red Hot Tulsa Drillers and their Vice President, Media and Promotions, Brian Carroll, over here to talk about this incredible baseball team and what a run they're having right now. We'll preview the final jewel of racing's Triple Crown coming up this Saturday, the Belmont Stakes in New York, with Andrew Warren. He had a horse, Raise Cain, in the Kentucky Derby, and some thoughts on the big race and on his Derby experience. And then a real treat for you. Did a special video Zoom call with Ron Turcotte, the famous jockey Hall of Famer who rode the great Secretariat 50 years ago. We're celebrating Secretariat. Ron Turcotte has some great insight for us. And we have a big bike race coming up in Tulsa, 3 days, the St. Francis Tulsa Tough. And Malcolm McCullum, their executive director, will be here to preview that. Now let's check the headlines for this week, the Tulsa World Hot Topics. College softball, World Series, NCAA baseball regionals, all going on. Oklahoma Sooners softball once again in the finals of the Women's College World Series for a third straight year, going for a third straight national title and 51-game win streak. They'll wrap up next week. Oklahoma State Cowgirls were eliminated from the Women's College World Series, 3-1 loss to Tennessee. OSU finished the season with a 47-16 record and a fourth consecutive trip to the World Series. Now to NCAA baseball. The hottest team to talk about in this area, the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles, winning the Stillwater Regional. They had victories over Oklahoma State, Washington, and Dallas Baptist. They now move on to the Super Regionals in Eugene, Oregon. They open a best-of-3 series against the Oregon Ducks this weekend. Oral Roberts is 49-11. They have the nation's longest current win streak of 29 in a row, and they feature 21 in a row, and they feature an outstanding player, junior Jonah Cox. As the Super Regionals has a personal hitting streak of 44 consecutive games, one of the best in all of college baseball. OSU, meanwhile, was swept in its own regional. Very disappointing end for the Cowboys. Had a good season, and OU got bounced out by East Carolina. Turn to our indoor pro football team, the Tulsa Oilers. Now they suffered a heartbreaking 56-55 loss at San Diego this past weekend when an 18-yard field goal attempt went wide right with 4 seconds left. Tulsa's next home game this Saturday, June the 10th. They'll face the Iowa Barnstormers, the only team they've beaten this season. Kickoff 7:05 at the BOK. First of 2 back-to-back home games. Also, the Oilers will be playing the Sioux Falls team on the 17th of June. Soccer now, FC Tulsa's Soccer Club is also on the West Coast on May 31st, battling to a scoreless draw at Monterey Bay FC, featuring great goalkeeping, though, by Michael Nelson, recording Tulsa's 3rd shutout of the season. FC Tulsa now heads to the East Coast, Leesburg, Virginia. They'll meet Loudoun United FC on Friday before the next home match, coming back Saturday, June 17th at One Oak Field. Big 12 Conference expands from its current 10 teams to 14 on July the 1st. The league welcomes in Brigham Young, Central Florida, Cincinnati, and Houston. After the recently completed spring meetings, new commissioner Brett Yormark said the Big 12 is still interested in expanding, an appetite to have a national conference coast to coast. Football teams being mentioned to join the Big 12 include, by the way, Colorado, formerly a Big 12 member, and Arizona State, all those now currently in the Pac-12. In basketball, 2 coast-to-coast schools the Big 12 would like to add are national powers, big names, Gonzaga and UConn, University of Connecticut. Also at the recent meetings, Big 12 distributed a record $440 million split among the 10 league schools. Well, the Sooners and Longhorns do move to the SEC for football in the fall of 2024. The SEC Conference expands to 16 teams but will not break into divisions. They'll stay also at the current format of each team playing 8 league games instead of the 9 they've been talking about. 2024 schedule for OU and Texas. The rest of the SEC comes out on June the 14th. 3 Sooners have made the College Hall of Fame ballot. National Football Foundation College Hall of Fame announced the 2024 ballot. The College Football Hall of Fame, and 3 former Sooners are on the list there: Rocky Kalmus, Josh Heupel, and Dewey Selman. They're in spots among the 78 players listed on the ballot. Also, Justin Blackmon, the great Oklahoma State receiver. Sooners currently, by the way, have 23 former players in the College Football Hall of Fame. Former Oklahoma State All-American golfer Victor Hovland scored the biggest professional win of his career, taking the Memorial Tournament by rolling in a 5-foot putt on the first hole of sudden death. His 3rd PGA Tour win, but his first here in the United States. The 25-year-old from Norway got a check for, ready for this, $3.6 million. That's why they call the Memorial the 4th major. You got the trophy, and of course that priceless handshake and the walking off the green there from Jack Nicklaus the legend himself, and of course the guy who runs the tournament host, Jack Nicklaus. And congratulations to Owasso High School basketball star Jalen Montanati, making the 12-man Team USA Under-16 national roster. They're playing this week in Mexico. Jalen, son of the Rams head basketball coach Brian Montanati, averaged over 18 points as a freshman last season, and in fact, as a ninth grader, was offered a scholarship by Bill Self and the University of Kansas. He also is ranked right now the 13th best national high school basketball prospect in his class of 2026. We're going to come right back with Brian Carroll to talk about the red-hot Tulsa Drillers. That's next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet hitting, pad popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
This episode is sponsored by Equity Bank. Athletes work hard day in and day out to improve their game. They put in time and effort to stay in shape and bring their A game for the big day. Our tellers do the same thing with banking. We work hard to serve our communities and keep your money safe. Equity Bank. We never forget it's your money.
We're back at Billy Sims Barbecue in the Farm Shopping Center, Oklahoma Sports Scene. This segment with good friend Brian Carroll, Vice President of Media and Public Relations for the Tulsa Drillers minor league baseball team. And well, that's a good time to be in charge of that group. Boy, they are hot, aren't they?
They are red hot. Ooh, yeah, and I appreciate you asking me on to come talk about it. There's no better time to talk Drillers baseball than right now. The guys, the last homestand, they swept all 6 games.
Right.
They go to Wichita, a good ball club up there. They take 5 out of 6, so they've won 11 of their last 12 games. It's incredible, and they're now sole possession of first place in our division. But Arkansas, who is coming in this week, is also a good ball club. They're staying right there with us.
I was going to say our first homestand in the month of June features a 6-game series with the Arkansas Travelers, 3 games behind Tulsa right now, and always great rivals. Should be some great baseball through Sunday of this week.
It's going to be a real big series, and one of the bigger ones we've had in a while as we wind down the first half of the season. There's actually 3 series left in the first half. We've only played Arkansas once this year, and it was over in North Little Rock, and they took 4 out of 6 from us. And we were probably fortunate to get 2 of those games. They're a little bit more of a veteran type ball club, so they're not an easy team to beat. We'll have our hands full, but it's nice to go into the series with a 3-game lead, and we do have that cushion.
Let's talk about promotions this week. You always have great things going on. Of course, fireworks always part of the weekend.
It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. The big promotion of the homestand is Mickey Mantle Night on Saturday night. Yeah, and it's great. We're over 10 years of doing Mickey Mantle Night, and 2 of his sons come up and participate in that. Great guys. It's always fun to have them in the ballpark as well. But this year we've always given away rings for the most part, and this year it's a ring recognizing Mickey as the career home run leader in the World Series.
Wow.
He's that. So this ring will pay special tribute to that. And that's kind of the big night of the homestand. Fireworks on that night as well. We'll have back-to-back fireworks on Friday and Saturday. We've got our last midweek day game of the year on Wednesday. So, those of you in the office on Wednesday, start making plans now. Figure out a reason to be out of the office and come spend it at the ballpark for lunch on Wednesday.
Well, congratulations, Brian. Also, the Tulsa Joes are #1 in the Texas League, all the Texas League in attendance. I was looking at this figure too. 15th out of 120 minor league baseball teams for attendance, about 6,000 average a game. Just incredible year.
It's incredible, and I mean, we don't deserve any recognition. Tulsa is a great baseball market, and there's a lot of great baseball fans here, and they've always been very supportive. And then this year we're double blessed that the Los Angeles Dodgers have sent us a very, very talented team, and Scott Hennessy and his staff have just done a wonderful job putting it all together, and they're playing great baseball. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Well, you, Mike Walega, your entire staff done a great job making such a fan-friendly atmosphere that includes, always a big part of baseball, the food and beverage part of it, and I just saw it figured up 60% in food and beverage this season.
Our food and beverage department, that's not an easy job, trying to feed 6,000 or 7,000 people on a given night. It's
about 9,000 Driller Dogs from Memorial Weekend, huh? Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of hot dogs.
Oh,
that's a lot of hot dogs, and I don't know how they do it. I couldn't even begin to plan, but they work very hard at it, put a lot of hours in, and they do a great job. And I'll tell you what, I would put our menu and our drink selection up against any ballpark in the country, including major league stadiums. There's a lot of options.
The previous homestand, we ended up with a total attendance over 35,600 for the 6-game series. And tell you, I like that switch the Texas League made, where these teams are coming in and you're playing a 6-game series.
It's wonderful, Chris. I mean, it's like, well, this is so simple and it's so good.
Yeah.
Why didn't we come up with this years ago?
Yeah.
But it's great. We play Tuesday through Sunday every week of the season. Monday is an off day, so the guys always know Monday, recharge day, kind of get refreshed. As far as travel, you go into one city, you're there for the entire week, play the 6 games, you see all the starting pitchers. It's cut down on travel so much. It's made it better for the players, but as operators, it's made it so much better for us as well. There's only one time this year where we play 2 series back to back. We've already had it in May. So now, basically from now till the end of the season, mid-September, we're home every other week, and that's perfect.
Perfect. Manager Scott Hennessy and his staff done an incredible job in doing what you are supposed to be. Your mission is, of course, developing this talent for the big league club, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
And they're doing a great job of that. They have over the years. Scott's just wonderful to work with. I think Scott, it is about developing players, and he and his staff do such a wonderful job of that. But Scott, he makes it enjoyable for the guys. Yeah. They look forward to coming to the ballpark every day. It's 138 games, Chris, over the course of the summer, especially in the Texas League. You don't get a lot of breaks from the weather. A lot of hot days, and it's long days. People don't realize they get to the ballpark 11, 12 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. It's a long day between all of their workouts and extra things they do beforehand, and then play the game. That's the highlight, and that's the culmination of it. But it's a long day. But Scott and his crew, they make it fun to be at the ballpark for these guys and have them looking forward to playing the game each night. And that's so much of it, because at the end of the day, it's still a game. It's still the game of baseball, and you got to have fun doing it. It's a kid's game, and they do a great job of making it that way for them. And while at the same time, they're developing major league players. Look at James Outman, Miguel Vargas, Bobby Miller.
Yeah, let's talk about Bobby Miller.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, 3 starts in the major leagues for the Dodgers against the Yankees. The Yankees. He had just gave 1 hit in his victory this past weekend, 7 strikeouts. His ERA in Major League Baseball, 1.06, and he was a driller last season, right?
Just last season.
Wow.
He began the season with us, spent a good chunk of the season here in Tulsa pitching. You could obviously see the potential and the talent that he has. And if you watch him in Dodger Stadium, I mean, he looks like he belongs.
Yeah.
I mean, he is not out of place there. And he's still obviously very, very young, but he's got the skills. And again, I'll throw it back to Scott, Ryan Denick, our pitching coach from last year,
Right.
and this year he's one of our two. I mean, they did a fabulous job of getting him ready to go pitch and to go succeed at the major league level, which he is doing. So it's phenomenal. I mean, we've got an unbelievable staff this year. We've got a bunch of major league arms. You come out on Tuesday night and watch a guy pitch, you don't know when he's going to be in the major leagues.
Wow.
It could be in the next few weeks, could be next year, but there is a lot of talent in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization.
Brian Carroll, our Tulsa Dodgers Vice President of Media and Public Relations, and they make your job a little easier now, don't they, Brian?
They make it a lot easier, and it's you go to write a recap or something like that, or to do a preview of a homestand.
Right.
You're cutting things out. Well, we can't put all of this in here, and that makes it a lot more fun and a lot more simpler. And Brandon Hawkins, my assistant, believe me, we appreciate what the club is doing. And when you follow it on a day-by-day basis, it's a process. It's almost like reading a book and watching what these guys do over a 138 game season. And it's a lot of fun. It's one of the best jobs you could ask for.
Well, it's our first home series of the month of June. The Arkansas Travelers, and it couldn't be a bigger one. They're right behind those 3 games back in the Texas League North Division. The great rivals. They've kind of got Tulsa's measure when they went over to North Little Rock, so it's our turn to pay them back now. But great series. We've got fireworks planned. The Mickey Mantle giveaway. Talk about that on Saturday night again.
That's Mickey Mantle rings on Saturday night, and I think it's 11 years. My memory's not great that we've done a Mickey Mantle night, and we've done a set of rings over the last several of them, and it's really a great keepsake. And you look at the ring, and you'd never think it's a free giveaway. We talked about the food and beverage. We've got Tuesday and Thursdays are kind of our discount nights. T-Town Tuesday on Tuesday, discounted tickets, as well as some discounted food items. And then the popular Thirsty Thursday on Thursdays, discounted beer, as well as some sodas and food and beverage items as well. So those are popular nights during the middle of the week that work out great.
No better place to watch baseball anyway than One Oak Field in downtown Tulsa. Get out there and support your Tulsa Drillers against Arkansas through the Sunday, June 11th. Then they go on the road for a series of 6 games in Springfield, and then come back June 25th, open a 6-game set here with Northwest Arkansas. Brian, thanks for taking the time. It's all
My
this
pleasure.
genius publicity and media that turned this whole season around, I'm sure.
I think so. I'm glad you recognize it.
And thanks to Mike Mulligan, too, and all the guys there have done a great job for the Drillers. We'll be right back, talk to Andrew Warren, owner of Raise Cain. He ran in the Kentucky Derby, pulled him out of the Belmont. We're going to talk about that right now.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet hitting, pad popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Well, this Saturday, June the 10th, running the Belmont Stakes in New York, it is the final jewel. Racing's Triple Crown. They call it the Test of the Champion. Longest of the races at 1.5 miles. The gentleman who's considering the race, now out of the race, but still a great background for us, is Andrew Warren, the owner of Raise Cain, who ran in the Kentucky Derby. And thank you for joining us, Andrew. I guess first of all, I have to start with what was the final decision not to try the Test of the Champion that 1.5 miles at New York?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me, Chris. Always a pleasure to talk with you. So, yeah, okay. Tournament of the Race of Champions. Yeah, absolutely. Test of a Champion. Spectacular race. I went there twice to see the race when my
Right.
dad had horses there with his Derby horse, Knockadoon, and Dennis of Cork,
Right.
and had an amazing time at experiencing that. It's a wonderful race. Triple Crown, of course, that's what you want to be in. You want
Sure.
to be in the Triple Crown races. So I really wanted to get into it. I really wanted to be there. I wanted to go into the Preakness. I wanted to get into that race, but we said, look, we need a little more time than 2 weeks. That's probably going to serve us in the long run. So then I'm thinking, okay, Belmont, we're going to get in the Belmont. And, he's healthy right now. He's training well right now. He's in good shape right now. But it's that fine line that those trainers walk between undertraining and overtraining.
Right, yeah.
And I think we're just a little undertrained right now. If you look at some of the competitors, they're doing a little bit more than what we've been doing in our workouts. We haven't pressed him. We haven't pushed him to give us his best. My trainer wants him to be fresh, you
Right,
know. And
yeah.
I think we're maybe just a little we haven't gone the speed we need to go in those workouts, and we just haven't gone as in the distance either, half-mile workouts. So I just think that where he is right now, he might not be primed for the 1.5 miles.
Before we look ahead with Raise Cain and what's on the racing program coming up for him the rest of the year, let's look back. That first Saturday of May, the Kentucky Derby. How many ended up in your entourage, Andrew? What a group you had there.
Yeah, we had a tremendous group. We knew a lot of friends were coming, and they made it very special for us. I had the family there. We probably had 60 or 70 people. I talked to the ticket lady who helped with the tickets with Churchill Downs. I said, do we have the biggest box, the biggest group of people you've had here? And she said, yeah, you're way up there. You're way up there. So we had a great group of people. Everybody, I was told, had a great time. They all told me how special and fun, what a great weekend it was. And yeah, just being there with the family meant so much to me.
Well, that would have been everybody's bucket list, the Kentucky Derby. Let's take us through the races. You watched the race with Raise Cain there. You did the 16 posts, had a couple scratches, moved in some, and of course those very famous Warren colors you kind of taken off on those pink colors and stuff, easy to find too. But take us through the race of Raise Cain for the Derby.
Yeah, so the race preceding, we were in the bluegrass. Raise Cain was in the bluegrass, and he was ridden by a jockey that we had. We didn't love the ride in the bluegrass. Right. He got behind in a slow pace, and thinking, well, why isn't he moving him up a little bit early on? And so this race, opposite thing, he gets out early, breaks great, gets into the race early. You know, he's mid-pack, he's well positioned. That's a fast pace. Really burnt up some horses on the lead, but he was sitting, you know, where I thought was a good spot for him.
Right.
So I liked what the jockey did with him early, and we were in that race. So, you know, by the time he got into the stretch, that's where we ran into problems, because you had these horses on the lead. Kings Barnes was one, hit the wall and kind of backed up into him. And, you know, we couldn't get out of his way. So we got around him, and then you run into another horse that's slowing down, and you try to work your way around him. So we kind of, I think Disarm was in there, maybe jostling him a little bit. And so he didn't have a clear path. So he got stopped, and then finally turned it up. You know, once he got free, he kept running, you know. And so people after the race, they said to me, wow, you know, the horse got stopped, but he kept running. You know, very impressive that he could do that, because a lot of times that's the end of the race. So we felt pretty good. Just felt like he didn't get the best, you know, the best luck there at the end.
That's such a big part of the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
The big field, 18. He finished 8th in the field of 18. Only beaten 10 lengths in the race there, and he said had all kinds of traffic problems there. But he came back well, though, had no issues. And
yeah, had relatively no issues.
Yeah.
He did have some scrapes and cuts on his legs,
Right.
but just superficial.
Right.
Nothing really serious.
And where is he right now? Where's he training right now? In Kentucky still?
He's at Keeneland.
Okay,
yeah,
right,
he's
yeah.
at Keeneland training in Kentucky, and he's been there since the Derby. And he was supposed to ship up to New York today, and then we made the pivot.
Yeah.
So not going to New York. And
What's on the schedule for him for the rest of the summer and the fall?
So we're going to be racing this weekend. Supposed to be at Churchill Downs, but they've closed Churchill Downs now over at Ellis Park.
That's right.
There's the Matt Wynn Stakes, Grade 3 race. It was at 8.5 furlongs, and they've now moved it up to 9 furlongs due to the change in racetrack.
Right.
So at the Pea Patch,
That's right.
at Ellis Park. So that's what we're hoping for him. Go to the Matt Winn Stakes. Hopefully, heavy hitters in the Belmont Stakes. Hopefully, you don't get those heavy hitters in the Matt Winn, and we have a little, maybe a little easier time of it, and he runs well. Hope he runs well in the Matt Winn, and then maybe we go to the Haskell at Monmouth Park.
Well, it's a big grade one there, New Jersey out.
And maybe we go to the Travers.
The Midsummer Derby.
So
he's looking at the big grade one, big races, isn't he, this year?
Yes.
Excellent.
So hopefully he comes back strong.
Well, so far, in fact, he's proven to be a heck of a thoroughbred. 8 lifetime starts, 2 first, second, a third, almost $300,000 in earnings so far. A lot more ahead for him here. And I know that I really was disappointed. I really thought the Preakness would, I understand it was close, but we ended up at a 7-horse field. I thought Raise Cain would have been great there.
Oh, yeah. It would have been a fantastic spot for him. I really wanted to do it, and the trainer sort of, he held me back a little bit, and so I said, all right, we'll have our chance. We'll have our chance later. So we saved a little gunpowder, but, man, that was a great spot to use it.
Well, of course, the Belmont Stakes, of course, this Saturday, and a lot of the big name horses are going to be there. Forte looks like, of course, had to scratch the morning of the Kentucky Derby. The 2-year-old champions in the field, probably going to be the favorite. Tapit Trice, Angel of Empire, National Treasure won the Preakness Stakes for Bob Baffert. Any favorite there among those horses for you? The field's not as big as they thought it was going to be now.
Sure. Yeah, Forte coming off his layoff that he's had, obviously multiple graded stakes winning horse, multiple grade 1 winning horse, tremendous champion you've got there. He's going to be great. Tapit Trice looks like he's a horse that just has a ton of stamina. He's bred for it. Tapit does very well in the Belmont, son of Tapit. He looks good. I might go with Angel of Empire.
The Arkansas Derby?
Won the Arkansas Derby,
right.
Third in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
The way he closed in the Kentucky Derby looked like he had a lot of run left in him. He closed well. Hit Show, I thought, also was very impressive in the Derby. I'd probably be going with Angel of Empire, Tapit Trice in there, of course. Forte, hard to count him out. This horse, Arcangelo, looks interesting.
Yeah. Handicapping tips here from Andrew Warren, of course, who owns Raise Cain. Looking forward to his run this weekend, too, as well, up at Ellis Park. And want to remind you that the Belmont Stakes is on Fox. NBC had their run. Now Fox takes over the Belmont. It's on from 3 to 6:30 local time here. And the post time locally is 5:50, the 155th running of the Belmont Stakes. Andrew, I know you'll be there in spirit. Look forward to having some great races, and we'll keep in touch with you and hopefully have some success through the racing season here.
Absolutely.
Stay with us. You're going to enjoy our next feature. Ron Turcotte, legendary jockey of the Great Secretariat, the 50th anniversary of his Triple Crown victory in 1973, way before he was born. And we'll have some special features coming up with that right after this.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Hi, I'm the Big O Jerry Ostrowski, former University of Tulsa football player as well as Buffalo Bill, and you're watching the Oklahoma Sports Scene right here.
This episode is sponsored by Equity Bank. Athletes work hard day in and day out to improve their game. They put in time and effort to stay in shape and bring their A game for the big day. Our tellers do the same thing with banking. We work hard to serve our communities and keep your money safe. Equity Bank. We never forget it's your money.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
This year's Triple Crown marks the 50th anniversary of the legendary Secretariat. He set records in all 3 of the races he won that year. He became the first Triple Crown winner in 25 years. We have a very special guest on a video Zoom that we did earlier this week from Grand Falls, New Brunswick, Canada. Longtime friend of mine, the Hall of Fame jockey, rider of the great Secretariat, Ronnie Turcotte. I asked Ron his impressions the first time he laid eyes on the big red chestnut horse, Secretariat.
Back when I first saw him, he was a handsome dude, and I'll tell you, the first ride I had on him, it was amazing. He was so intelligent. You teach him something, he could go right on and keep on doing it after. Oh, he was beautiful. Never shied from anything.
Well, let's go through the Triple Crown. 1973, you had the upset loss in the Wood, a lot of pressure on the syndicate, just syndicated for $6 million. And you were ready to go in the Kentucky Derby. Tell us about that race leading up to it.
Kentucky Derby had just been beaten in Wood Memorial, and I found out early that, well, not early, really, before the last week, though. I found out from Dr. Gilman that he had an abscess under his upper lip. And I says, thanks, Doc. That solved my mystery. I says, now we're going from here. But the last time I worked him, he was back to himself. And I says, well, he, to myself, that he was gonna win.
Well, Ronnie, he performed one of the most amazing things in thoroughbred racing history. He ran every quarter mile of a mile and a quarter faster than the previous one. 25-1, 24, 23-4, 23-2, 23 flat. Amazing.
It was amazing, but I'll tell you, he was a horse. Like I said, you could do anything with him. I said that before many times. He realized good, and whenever I wanted to move to improve my position, I just stuck to him, and he went on, or just moved my hand a little bit on him, and then as soon as I got where I wanted to be, I just relaxed again, and you relax, and then another hole opened, and I go through that one. I kept doing that throughout the backside till I get the 5/8 pole. Then the 5/8 pole, I took him to the outside, make sure he didn't get stuck. So my job really was to keep him out of trouble and get him a clear field of running.
All right, 2 weeks later, you go to the Pimlico, the Preakness, and you shocked everybody with a big, quick move around the first turn. Was that you or was that Secretariat?
That was me. Secretariat never did anything he wasn't asked to do. And whenever I called on him, he was right there. All the time, every time, except when he had it was problem like the abscess or the high fever, the Saratoga, the flu he had caught there. And but besides that, and the Woodward, he was not ready for that race. Besides them races there, anytime I call on him, regardless of the footing or regardless of anything, he'd just move on and nobody finishes for him after that. Besides that.
Well, then it'd been 25 years. We had a Triple Crown winner. It all comes down to the Belmont of 1973, 3 weeks after the Preakness. And Ronnie, a lot of people thought you were out of your mind. How did Secretariat get that far in front? Everybody thought he was running way too fast, and yet he just made 31-length victory. Take us through that incredible 1.5 mile Belmont Stakes.
Well, I'll tell you, we had a good team, a very good team. We had Eddie Sweat, the groom, Carly Davis, the exercise boy, and in all his workout, I was doing the workout. So I knew exactly where the horse was at all time, and I knew what he was up to. So it didn't bother me at all when I went to the lead, and I just kept on going. I had him in that long striding, ground covering stride, and I wasn't worried about it. I know everybody thought I was nuts, but I knew exactly what I was doing.
They're moving on the turn now. For the turn at Secretariat. It looks like he's opening. The lead is increasing. Make it 3.5. He's moving into the turn. Secretariat holding on to a large lead. Jan is second, and then it's a long way back to My Gallon and Twice a Prince. They're on the turn. Secretariat is blazing along. The first 3/4 of a mile in 109 4/5. Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. Secretariat by 12. Secretariat by 14 lengths on the turn. Sham is dropping back. It looks like they'll catch him today as My Gallant and Vice Prince are both coming up to him now. But Secretariat is all alone. He's out there almost a 16th of a mile away from the rest of the horses. Secretariat is in a position that is impossible to catch. He's into the stretch. Secretariat leads his field by 18 lengths. And now Vice Prince has taken second, and My Gallant has moved back to third. They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. It's going to be Vice Prince second, My Gallant third, Private Smiles fourth, and Sham, who had it today, dropped back to fifth. An amazing, unbelievable performance by this miracle horse. And look at Mrs. Sweetie. She's having the time of her life. She and Lucian Lawrence, who own this most magnificent animal, who has today run the most sensational Belmont Stakes in the history of this race. Secretariat has accomplished the unbelievable task of breaking the mile-and-a-half record by 2 3/5 seconds. That is a record that may stand forever. The time of this race, 2:24. Almost unbelievable.
I love that very famous shot back down the stretch. Really couldn't even see other horses. And you looked over your shoulder there to, what'd you think as you look back at the field 31 lengths behind you?
Well, when you said I was 20 lengths in front, I turned my head and I looked at the clock, and I had 159 flat for a mile and a quarter. And then I had to look across to see the horses behind me. And then I just let him low on down on the stretch. He was running well within himself. I was just rocking with him, in stride with him. And that was about it. I mean, he broke a track record pulling up. That's how good he was and how fit he was. I knew exactly by working him exactly what he needed for the race, and got him ready for that, for the Belmont, and he ran as I expected him.
All-time record mile and a half, fastest ever, 2:24. That next week, 2 days later, he was on the cover of Time, Newsweek, Sports Illustrated. Truly, America's horse. Ron, why? It's a half century, 50 years later. Why does Secretariat Big Red still resonate with the fans?
Because he was that kind of horse that loved people. He loved to please us. He loved to run, and there was no machine like him on the racetrack. I never saw any horse like that. And I was around horses for quite a while before that, but I never saw anything like him.
And I'll have my personal thoughts on Secretariat coming up later in my Equity Bank Lincoln's 2 cents worth. But first, another race to preview. Tulsa Tough, presented by St. Francis Health Systems. Been a great event throughout the years here in Tulsa, and we have their executive director, Malcolm McCullum, tell us all about the big 3-day event, and you don't want to miss it. Again, St. Francis, Tulsa Tough. The preview coming up straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine in, curbside, or carry out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene at the Billy Sims Barbecue in the Farm Shopping Center. Big event coming up for the city of Tulsa. And it's an annual event. Now the 17th annual St. Francis-sponsored Tulsa Tough. And the guy that makes it happen, the executive director here, Malcolm McComb. And Malcolm, the first thing to point out is a couple pretty brave guys, white shirts at a barbecue place, huh?
You know, be brave.
That's right, exactly. Great event, and you've been the head of it for the whole thing here. What has made this such a special event for Tulsa and really getting attention nationwide?
Boy, we get asked that question a lot, and I think about it a lot, and you know, it's the people. It's the people in Tulsa. You mentioned that I'm the head of this event. That's true. I am one of around 800 people that put this event on between the leadership and the volunteer base we have. And the people in this town are unbelievable how they will support a true community effort like the St. Francis Tulsa Tough.
June 9th, June 10th, June 11th. It starts with, explain the different categories here. We're talking about criteriums and also some fun runs and fun rides and for anybody.
Right, we have 3 basic parts of the event to take place on bicycles. The criterium races, which most people are very familiar with. Those are the downtown races and go around in short loops, very big packs, incredibly fast. A little bit of daredevil in some of those athletes. And then we have the fondos. So if you think about the fondos as basically in the running world, when you have a 5K or a half marathon or a marathon, that's what the fondos are in the cycling world. And the distances are essentially 40, 60, and 100 miles, very attainable for people who work at it and train a little bit. Right. And then with the third part of the event from the cycling standpoint is the Williams Townie. And that takes place on Sunday, 2 o'clock, and that's a 6-mile ride, free and open to the public. So the criteriums, the Aon Grand Fondos, and the Williams Townie.
So whether you're a professional or someone just getting started in bike racing, there's something for everybody here.
Oh, something for everybody. And really, even if you're not interested in seeing the event from a bicycle saddle or behind the handlebars, free spectating downtown every day. All the details are on our website, tulsatough.com. We see somewhere around 50,000 spectators over the 3 weekend of this event. And most of them are not really cycling fans. They come for the festivities. It's known as a 72-hour block party in downtown Tulsa.
Let's talk about number of entries. It gets bigger and bigger every year, all over the country, right?
All over the country and internationally.
Wow.
Interestingly, one of the things that we track is that we live broadcast these races every day, and we're able to go back because of the technology and see where the viewing comes from. All over the United States, of course, but all over North America, Canada, Mexico, Central America, Australia, overseas, New Zealand, all throughout Europe, Italy, France, the UK. It's unbelievable the following that Tulsa has grown with this event.
How many bike riders will be competing and just for the fun through the 3 days?
Thousands. We'll see somewhere around 3,000 in the races and somewhere around 2,000 in the fondos. The Townie ride, the Williams Townie, always has somewhere around 300 or 400. Quite a few.
St. Francis Health System has been a very big supporter of this right at the very beginning, haven't they?
Were it not for St. Francis, this event would not be where it was. Many years ago, in our early years, the St. Francis leadership challenged me with a question. Basically, they were like, Malcolm, how can we take this to the next level? We think this community has an opportunity to put a flag in the ground and claim something. I went back to them with a game plan. They looked at me straight away and said, we're all in and let's do this. And that was what made the difference in this becoming the event it is today.
Well, our first showing this week on Wednesday, so get you set up for the opening event of the 3-day competition, Friday, June the 9th, and starts at 4:30 p.m. at men's Category 3. What's that all about?
The Category 3 racers, this is one of the entry-level amateur, well, an intermediate amateur level racer. when you get into bike racing, they categorize those by number, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then professional. So the threes will begin on Friday, working all the way up to the pros, the pro men and the pro women.
That final event on Friday at 8:20 in the evening, that is the men's pro, right? How long will that be?
That's about an 80-minute race.
Yeah. Well, they're hitting some kind of speeds downtown, aren't they?
We measured it one year, and that is a very tight, short course, less than a mile long, 8 corners, and the men in that race averaged over 30 miles an hour average for around an 80-minute race.
That first day, all the action down at McNally's group Blue Dome Criterium, 3rd Street and Ellington Avenue. Let's talk now about Saturday, June 10th. What's happening then, and where is it starting?
New things on Saturday. We have a great addition to this Saturday's event. There's a group in Tulsa, another nonprofit that we were able to partner with called Flywheel, and Flywheel is presenting a nighttime concert right across from the Davenport Lofts and the Cains. It's going to be unbelievable with a laser light show, a band called Ghostland Observatory. Super fun event.
That starts Saturday morning at 7 a.m. That's the first ride?
First ride off at 7 a.m. and everybody better stay rested because that's going to be a long day.
I was going to say the last one I see on the schedule here is coming up in the evening, ending with a men's pro. Then on Sunday, the big 3-day wrap-up of the festival, the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, and a guy here, Malcolm McCullum, the executive director, makes it all happen. That's, again, gets underway early, 7 a.m., 13th and Riverside for Fondo.
Indeed it is, and if you're new to the St. Francis Tulsa Tough, don't miss Sunday. The infamous Crybaby Hill
that's right.
is always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun up there on the vast soundstage, live music, and that whole day ends with, you know how in New Orleans they have the jazz bands, the brass bands that walk through?
Yeah.
Well, the King Cabbage Brass Band in Tulsa wraps up the entire day by marching the entire Crybaby Hill course with the brass band, and everybody follows along. So that is a must-do.
And when is all the awards ceremony? Will that take place on Sunday?
That'll be right after the men's race.
Where will it be? Center downtown? Or?
You know, that'll be right down on Riverside Drive at the Drunkard Theater.
Oh, very good.
Isn't that special?
Malcolm McCullum, again, the executive director, 3-day St. Francis Tulsa Tough, a great event for the city of Tulsa, a great national and international event they brought to the city. Malcolm, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much,
You'll
Chris.
get the barbecue sauce on a nice white shirt there.
I'll try. You either.
Okay, right back with more Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay with us.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service, loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
I'm Dale Day from Remington Park. You're catching the Remington Report here on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene at Remington Park in Oklahoma City. They wrapped up their live mixed race meet for the summertime. We're going to have a look at their past big weekend of major stakes races, including the Rich Heritage Place Futurity, one of the richest quarter-horse races in the entire nation. Track announcer Dale Day with a recap from Remington Park.
Remington Park closed out the American Quarter Horse Paint and Appaloosa season on Saturday, June 3rd. It was Champions Night, celebrating the sport's best. 6 Grade 1 stakes events headlined the program. Here's a look at the key races from Champions Night. We'll start things off with the world's richest race for paints and Appaloosas, the Speed Horse Graham, a Grade 1 event worth more than $257,000. They're off in the Speed Horse Graham. Paint Appaloosa Futurity. Great start for Wired Redhead. Our Cowgirl right there as well. Coming on Triple L Express and now kicking in toward the outside. Whiskey and Rain. Triple L Express in the middle. Puts a nose on the lead. Here comes Our Cowgirl to the inside. Whiskey and Rain. Triple L Express. Wired Redhead. Our Cowgirl, the Lone Appaloosa, gets it done in the Speed Horse Graham Futurity. Our Cowgirl stays undefeated and represents the Appaloosas well, the only Appaloosa in the Speed Horse Graham this year, scoring for owner and breeder Jeff Adams of Durant, Oklahoma. D. Keener, the trainer, James Flores up. He picked up his 40th win on the season, riding Our Cowgirl, who went 4 for 4 in 2023 at Remington Park. Second, Whiskey and Rain, the beaten favorite. Third, the 5, Triple L Express. Fourth, number 1, Wired Redhead. Speed Horse Graham goes to Our Cowgirl, the Lone Appaloosa. So many big races on Champions Night at Remington Park, including the Debbie Schaaf Remington Park Invitational Championship. Danger has won this race the past 2 years. A field of 9 went to the gate. Danger on the outside. They're off in the Debbie Schaaf Remington Park Championship. Clean start for Danger on the outside. Nothing Like You away beautifully. Has the early advantage from the inside. Applicable drifting out. Now gives up the lead to Nothing Like You. Danger now on the outside. Motors to the front. Danger taking over up by a length. Nothing Like You doesn't have an answer. A Trace of Eagle now starts to move inside but has too much to do. It's all Danger all the time for the third straight year in the championship. Danger wins the Remington Park Championship for a third consecutive year, joining only Taylor Fitt as horses to do that at Remington Park. Taylor Fitt did it in 1999, 2000, and 2001. Danger has won the Remington Park Championship in 2021, 22, and now 23. Francisco Calderon up, Dean Fry trainer. Danger, heavy favorite in the Debbie Schaaf, scoring easily under a hand ride. 7, Nothing Like You came through for John Heyman's trainer for second. Third, the 6, A Trace of Eagle. Fourth was number 8, Apolitical Red Flash. Danger, 2 for 2 this year at Remington, winning the Leo and now the Debbie Schaaf Remington Park Championship, throwing his hat into the ring once again for year-end honors as a world champion possibility. The grand finale on Champions Night was the 12th of the Grade 1, $1.2 million Heritage Place Futurity, a field of 10 2-year-olds who qualified over 2 days of trials in early May, going to the gate to go 350 yards. They're off in the Heritage Place Futurity. Slow start for MFS Cheerio. Quick start outside for San Lencho. Also right there, Midnight Politics from the rail moving on. Here comes Deep Blue. San Lencho with a slide edge. Deep Blue at the rail. In between Midnight Politics powering on. ABC Corazon is trying to run on fourth. San Lencho to the far outside. Gets up. San Lencho scores the Heritage Place Futurity, staying undefeated through 3 starts this year. Owner and breeder Rogelio Marquez of Rosenberg, Texas, winning with San Lencho. Juan Polito, the winning jockey. Waylon Melton, trainer. For Polito, his second victory in the Heritage Place Futurity overall. San Lencho was the heavy favorite, paying $4.80 for the win. Deep Blue came in second, number 1. Third, the 3, Midnight Politics. Fourth, number 4, ABC Corazones. Other stakes races featured on the night, including the Heritage Place Oaks, a $270,000 purse for 3-year-old fillies, going 400 yards. The field of 10 battled throughout, and they were strung out across the track, rail to rail in a photo, but number 6, Mrs. KVN, comes through, winning the Heritage Place Oaks in a good victory at a long shot price. $65.80 for the win. Thomas Shekel, the winning owner. Shauna Manriquez, trainer. She also trained the winner of the Remington Park Oaks back in April. Daniel Torres was the winning jockey. Mrs. KVN wins the Heritage Place Oaks. Our Lady's Dynasty was second. Curl's Joyful Wagon was third. And Painted Sace fourth. Staying at the 400-yard distance, the Grade 2 Heritage Place Derby for 3-year-olds who qualified in trials in early May. A talented field of 10 battled it out, and Take a Swig of This had no troubles in the Derby. Had a great start and rolled to victory under Francisco Calderon. Owned by the Dunn Ranch, Monte Rosa trainer, Take a Swig of This, a sharp winner in the Heritage Place Derby, paying $7.60 for the win. Second was the hard-running Hooked and Gone, number 10. Third, the 2, Eye on the Card. And fourth, number 6, The Duke. Racing returns to Remington Park in late August when the thoroughbred season begins and continues through mid-December. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
And live racing resumes at Remington Park in Oklahoma City, coming up with the thoroughbred meet. That'll be August the 18th through December the 15th. Post time, 7:07, Wednesday through Saturday. We'll preview that next week. Next, Equity Bank presents my sports commentary, Lincoln's 2 cents worth. And a final look at my personal memories of the great Secretariat.
This episode is sponsored by Equity Bank. Athletes work hard day in and day out to improve their game. They put in time and effort to stay in shape and bring their A game for the big day. Our tellers do the same thing with bacon. We work hard to serve our communities and keep your money safe. Equity Bank, we never forget it's your money.
You did it, Tulsa. You name the team. We name the team. You name the team. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m., BOK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com to get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast pace, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Billy Sims knows barbecue. How about 9 meats, including brisket, chicken, pork, turkey, and ribs? Just to name a few, and 7 home-style sides. We start early to slow smoke the most delicious meats for over 12 hours.
Every day.
Wherever you want, online, dine-in, curbside, or carry-out. We've had a passion for over 15 years of serving delicious barbecue to people like you. Billy Sims has fast, drop-in friendly neighborhood service. Loud enough for a tailgate and fancy enough for a wedding. Like we said, Billy Sims knows barbecue.
And now, Equity Bank presents Lincoln's 2 cents worth by closing sports commentary. I never got to see Secretariat race in person, not in 1972 when he was the horse of the year as a 2-year-old, not in that incredible year 1973 when he swept the Triple Crown and became the first Triple Crown winner in a quarter of a century. But I did have several opportunities to visit Big Red and his paddock at Claiborne Farm in Lexington, Kentucky during his stallion career. He really takes your breath away. To start with, he's a magnificent looking thoroughbred. Larger than most, 16.2 hands at 66 inches to the withers. Noted for being exceptionally well balanced with perfect conformation and stride biomechanics. His stride was an incredible 24 feet 11 inches. And Secretariat came along just when we needed him the most. We were mired in the Vietnam War. You had the Watergate scandal going on. America needed a hero. And here came this big chestnut red horse with the block blue and white silks of Penny Chenery's Meadow Stable, a red, white, and blue hero for America. And boy, did he play the hero. There have been no Triple Crown winner in a quarter of a century since Citation in 1948. All Secretariat did was not just sweep the 3 races, but set new track records in all 3. The Kentucky Derby, 1:59.2, the first time ever under 2 minutes in the Derby. Mile and a quarter of that race. Then the Preakness Stakes, 1:53.2, a new track record. And the crowning moment, the mile-and-a-half Belmont in an amazing 2 minutes and 24 seconds. How popular was Secretariat in 1973? Think about this. It was Secretariat, not a pope, not a president, not a scientist or a business leader or a actor. It was Secretariat who in the same week was on the cover of 3 national magazines, Time, Newsweek, and Sports Illustrated. Secretariat died on October 4th, 1989, at age 19. Put down humanely after suffering from laminitis, disease of the hoof that just can't recover from. The autopsy revealed that Secretariat's heart was 3 times larger than the average horse. No surprise. Baseball has its Babe Ruth. Boxing, Muhammad Ali. Soccer, Pele. Horse racing had its Secretariat. The greatest horse ever looked through a bridle, the standard by which we still measure all thoroughbreds running today. That's my Lincoln's 2 cents worth, presented by Equity Bank. Next week, join us in Cox Yearview Channel 3 and on YouTube. Recap an incredible Sooners softball season. Also talk about some big regional action for Oral Roberts University in the Super Regionals in Oregon. A couple special guests coming as well. See you next week, and until then, always remember, be a good sport.